We're here with Phil and Paul from All Rolled Up, a company from which I already have a lot of these very nice bags at home for all my dice. And that is where you started with your company, right?
That's correct. We decided after I was made redundant 6 years ago, I was going to make some dice bags for a fair. And my husband said, well, let's do a little bit more than a dice bag. And after a few weeks concept and playing around, we came up with this product called the All Rolled Up. And because it was such a unique product, nobody else had seen it before, it just became a big hit.
And it pretty immediately also became something where you had lots of licenses. And that's also, looking behind me, and you have a lot of different licenses from role-playing games that you use.
Precisely. This game here actually is my husband's game. It's a cover for his book called The Cthulhu Hack, which he writes. I'll let you tell him about that. I'll let him tell you about that in a little bit. But this is our own piece of artwork from that. We also license with Free League, which has Symbaroum, Forbidden Lands, Mutant Year Zero, and maybe some new things coming up soon, hopefully. We just recently signed up with Chaosium, so we do RuneQuest and the Call of Cthulhu products. We also license with a brand new one is Russ Nicholson, who did all the old Fighting Fantasy artwork. We have Rolf Horsley, we have, it's just many companies, and there are more that we're talking with. We've been approached. Goodman Games is the new one that might be coming up soon too. So all those people who like Dungeon Crawl classics will hopefully have some All Rolled Up with that as well.
So I guess All Rolled Up is no longer just the two of you, right?
No, that boy over there smiling at me. Come here, David, quick. This is my son, David. This is really important because David...
It's a family business.
Yes, it is. David came into the company after graduating physics at Manchester Metropolitan University, and now he runs the division that does the folding dice trays. So he's in charge of that, and the new little venture we have with the 3D printing of the dice towers as well. So David's basically in charge of a small team who do a lot of assembly, and they do a lot of other bits and pieces with All Rolled Up.
That's a lot of things coming from I'm just going to see a few dice bags.
Yeah.
A lot happened these last few years. And you publish, or rather you published what he wrote, The Cthulhu Hack. From the name, I guess, it's a retro game, but with a Lovecraftian background.
So, yeah, I mean, it's based on a fantasy game called The Black Hack, which took Dungeons and Dragons type gaming, but simplified it. And the mechanics for that, I like them so much, I wanted to make my own horror investigation game. So the idea is that it's really easy to learn. You can learn it in 5 minutes, create a character in 5 minutes, and then play a game. And I started it in 2016, and now I'm up to my 8th book, 10 adventures, and I've been freelance writing for about 15 years, so this was my first chance to write my own thing. And it's been really exciting to actually keep writing, and I got two awards for Best Adventure at UK Games Expo this year. So it's been very good.
And a nomination
at ENG 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So did you ever think when they started with this that you'd end up in the same company?
Well, I initially came in to help with making the All Rolled Ups, so there'll be a couple of things that Phil just needed a bit of assistance with, or me doing parts of the All Rolled Up meant that we could create them a lot faster. And then a couple of years ago when we created the fold-up dice tray, they were initially made out of wool felt and had a backing to it. So after Phil had created a couple of them, I was the one responsible for making them. So we started off with 2 colours, blue and red, and then we went and expanded to about 12, and then we quickly expanded to 32 different colours in this wool felt. And then we realised quite quickly that people also wanted to put their own artwork on dice trays, and you couldn't really do that with the felt ones because the wool felt is quite hard to print anything on. So we teamed up with Patriot Games, who who prints all our dice trays for us. And we've currently got, I don't know, several hundred designs.
Yeah, I can imagine. I know that at least for Uhrwerk, people we also work with a lot, you have like dozens. Okay, so nicely done, studying physics, ending up in role-playing games.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the interview, and I think I'm going to be back tomorrow and have a look at your stuff.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
We're with Maciej at Darewy, and you're producing wooden gaming helpers. Let's call them gaming helpers, or different things that you might need on your gaming table.
A whole range of gaming accessories making from natural material like wood, leather, that can not just help but also look great with some settings like fantasy, medieval, like wood is also great for that. Some natural material from Africa can have so great grain about old look of wood from barn or something like that. So we can see also like this Amazok. This is from South Africa, and after just using a little bit of oil, we can give on the so great look of natural wood.
So this is just the natural grain of the wood. You didn't do anything about it but oil it.
Yes. Every material, every wood have some different story where it comes from, how it looks. So we only use transparent oil to protect from scratch and things like that, to make sure that it will stand longer. But everything you see is like natural, beautiful this wood of this material. So like we can see Wenge, it's like compared to ebony, so it's a dark material that looks great with white leather or red.
Okay, so what is this? Is this olive or something?
In color or material?
Yeah.
The material is Amazok.
Oh, it's also Amazok, okay.
Yeah, this is a complete.
Ah, these belong together.
Yeah, that's why we start with dice tower, but then people ask about using dice. So we have dice box where you can choose many different letter colors, and after all, you can just hide your dices and whole dice box hide into tower, and after finish the game, close everything and store on shelf or transport in backpack.
Okay, and often when you see these things like dice towers and stuff, when they're made of wood, they're laser cut, so they have this kind of this bird smell. So you do something different. They look different.
Yeah, many times you can meet master screens or dice tower or dice tray from plywood. They are laser cut, and then they add some color to change the look for some exotic wood like palisander or heban. I also see something like dice box for €10, making from exotic wood. Their material for this box costs something like €15, something like that.
Okay.
So it's something crazy for me, but then I check out their website or something, and always you can see that it's laser cut from materials like not so expensive, but then they add some color to make also look great. This is great option if someone just looking for something like that, but I prefer to use natural woods and to make this great look of this, and don't worry about losing of color after use, after some scratch or something like that.
Okay.
If you scratch natural oil wood, it still be the same color. You can just fix that with next part of oil, next layer, and little sanding to make it clear.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what kind of different things you create from the wood. What is your range? So we've seen the dice table with the hidden dice box inside. So what else do you do?
Yeah, we have the biggest one dice box for 3 sets of dice. So we check this 3 sets is going easy. You even can go with more dice for this box.
Like D&D sets, or which sets are we talking about? Which
standard sets for 7 dice.
Okay.
So for one from everything. Then we have set from 7 dices. So 1 set, but we test that 10 dices is feel very easy. Some customers also check out this and they say, yeah, great. Even 7K20 can go here for storage, and it's still not so big as whole.
Okay, and it closes with magnets, right?
Yeah, every dice box are closed with magnets. The smaller one only use 2 per side. On the bigger one, because of this big area, we use 4 magnets in every corner.
Okay, and then one thing I definitely have to ask about is the Game Master screen. How does this work? How do we change things here?
Yeah, so maybe we'll start from beginning.
Okay, yeah.
It all starts with idea of making modular system for game masters. So every game master has different setup, different idea for running their games. So not everyone like this standard paper cartoon, paper master screen. So we're thinking about making something that you can change after a few sessions if you don't like something. Then my friend contacted me to make something like that for him. So we start working on this, and we start with idea that we need to connect it on screw. So in every time you can change number of modules you prefer, you need, even between next game, and then adding 360-degree hinge to make it easy to close after a games and store on the shelf. And that was basic for making system. Then we moved to making it modular for different systems, to changing sheets between game. That's why we use magnets and kind of parts from wood to store every card inside. So we can easily remove all frame around and then put a card away, changing side or something, put it again and catch with magnets.
Okay. And I can see that you have kind of a list for the different woods. So can I kind of come to you and say, I would like to have something that you make out of this kind of wood, so I kind of make an order very specifically to what I want?
Yes, every order is we make everything for order.
Yes.
So every time if we have something item for sale, it's why we or some conventional fair. That's when we need to start few months earlier to make stuff like today, to have something to sell. Normally we take order and then start making from wood you choose. Like with leather, you can choose material that we make for frame and finish. And the same is with master screen. We still prepare for big premiere of this, so to say that hi, you now can order from every material we have, because we also make some change that now magnets.
No, the whole thing is magnetic.
Yes, whole thing. We can show you how. There's like set up everything, and to make each panel stronger, we use metal sheet inside. So we glue veneer from this exotic material like this in Wenge on both sides of metal sheet, and then create this with frame, and then in this process we create so strong panel. You can even check, it's very stronger and it weighs.
It's actually heavy, yeah.
Yeah, and also it's not so heavy like first prototype where we use a bigger metal sheet, and that was crazy for carrying with you for some session. So we decide to use something light material. If someone needs something custom made with different looks, different working mechanism, they can contact us freely, because there could be a new adventure with creating something.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we're back with Phil at All Rolled Up, and the reason we're back here are these bags, and they have a very special story. What's the background for these?
Well, basically, my business partner Paul Moore, he supports this charity called SEMA, and they make like handbags and things like that. And he told me the stories about these women in India, the northern part of India near Nepal, and these women are abused or thrown out of homes. And Jennifer Ramble, who's in charge of this organization, she started this charity 20 years ago and decided to take in these women and help them become productive in society. So they teach them, they take them in from the abusive situations, and then they then show them how to do different jobs within, their little it's not a factory, but it's like
it's a workshop.
A workshop, yes. So basically, the women do everything here. They dye the strings. They sit with little foot looms with with their bare feet and everything, and they weave these pieces of fabric called tans, and the tan then gets cut up and sewn into different products. So I was just trying to think of a way that I can help the charity, but also sell their products within the gaming community. So they already make these two little products here, like a little wide and long purse, and I thought, oh, these are perfect for like holding dice. I mean, they were actually a purse and a spectacle holder, but I thought they're perfect size for holding dice, so I'd start off with these. But then I thought I was going to try and get something that was a bit more unique. So I sent them. I got a pattern and made it up for them, and sent them instructions and photos on how to make these little triangle D4 purses. So they came back with all these little made-up purses for me just in time for Essen, and they've actually been selling really, really well. I mean, we've been telling people about them. I mean, they're all lined inside. They use recycled sari. So that's all sari fabric inside. They're really, truly well made, and like I said, this gives these women jobs to do. So they've all got individual jobs. Some will sew, some will cut, some will dye, some will weave, but they all work together and they produce these wonderful little products, and it just makes me happy to no end that they're doing this. But like I said, at the end of the day, it really, every time you buy one of these, it enables these women to give this charity, to give more women jobs, because there's so many of them there you wouldn't believe. I mean, I told you the story yesterday about the 19-year-old girl, and it's just a tragedy sometimes, but they do such good work, and I'm helping them directly by doing this. So like I said, it's just something I'm very proud of, and I'm very passionate about. So.
And rightfully so. It's a lovely idea. So everyone who buys one of these can have these women to earn their own money and come back on their feet. Thank you, both for the interview and for the really lovely idea.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks.